Hi and welcome to my channel. Now today's about me doing a few modifications to the Sansui 217. Got the 317 here as well, which is a Mark II. I'm going to bring that into it here and there, kind of like some stuff's a bit parallel, shall we say. So if you've got a 317, you may be interested to what I'm going to say. Probably going to be a lengthy video because I've got quite a bit to say probably. I don't know how long it's going to last. I'll rattle one as well. So if you haven't got a Sansui 317 or 217 or any more in that range, you might as well cut off now, I think. Save a lot of waffling going on. But before I start, I've been going to put it out there. I've had a bit of a dodgy eye and it's been driving me mad. It's been for a while now. It kind of happened when I was doing a bit of decorating around the house. I felt something go in it. Then I got it out, it seemed okay. And a few days later, of course, I've got something else in it again. And ever since, it feels like I've got something in there. It could be just coincidental that happened exactly at the same time. But I've been to the opticians twice now. And they sprayed that stuff in your eye. She pulled my eyelid back and said there was nothing in my eye. I'm not 100% convinced. But anyway, I'm going to throw it out there that she's given me these drops that are supposed to be for itchy, flaky kind of eyes. You know, where the eyelashes are flaky, all that kind of stuff, and some wipes. I've been using these for a month or so now and made no difference whatsoever. So I'm just wondering if anyone's kind of come across this, got this, if there's any better solutions maybe to ease it off, because it's been driving me mad, to be honest with you. Anyway, I just thought I'd sling that out there. Maybe someone has kind of come across this and kind of got a remedy that may help me out. You know, completely off topic, of course, but I'll mention it anyway. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I've done to this, a few mods to kind of future-proof it in a way, but it wasn't the intention to future-proof it, but I think I've future-proofed it for when I go on to sell it or something like that. And that's another thing I just quickly mentioned, maybe you give me your thoughts as well, is would you rather just buy an amplifier that's as is, as was, even though it's probably 30 years old, 40 years old, 20 years old, whatever, would you rather buy as is, or would you rather that someone's done a few alterations on a few dodgy parts that could go and they've put them right? Would you like something like that? I suppose it's going to be of a mixed bag. People that can mend it probably want to as is, and people that can't mend it, I'm guessing, maybe want one that's got a few alterations done. They haven't got to worry. They can sit back and listen to it without too many worries. But anyway, this amplifier, it's quite a long video. This amplifier is one of them amplifiers. When you look it up, it seems to have a multitude of problems. You know, you get some amplifiers, they say it's this transistor is quite common. Replace that, there's a couple of them in there or something like that, and that's probably going to cure it. You're not going to have much more problem with this amplifier. Then you get others where it's kind of like a lot of things can kind of go wrong. And I'm not saying a lot of things, but it seems to be quite a few things here that people suggest to do, you know, problems that come up over a period of time. For instance, the tape monitor, even though most amplifiers needs a clean, we've got dry joints. It's prone to dry joints. I've gone over the board and done all any suspicious dry joints. I don't think there was any, but anything that looks a bit suspicious, I went back over it again, replacing some transistors, replacing some diodes, and a few other bits and pieces as well. That's kind of suggested it. I mean, and to the extent that a lot of people, I've been reading on forums, actually replaced the old gubbins. And talking about that, a few people had success, and a few people that actually done it that I read, or especially one bloke I read, he done it all, spent quite a bit of money, quite a bit of time, and he didn't like the outcome. He said it sounds nothing like a Sansui. It's lost the bass, everything's gone. Now, I'm not saying it is this, but I did have a look at a few pictures he posted up on the net, and they're them little Wimmer caps, whatever, them little orange ones. I'm not a great fan of them at the moment. Maybe not suited to Yamaha. Maybe suited to Yamaha places, you know, other things like that, but maybe not suited to Sansui, should I say. I don't know, I'm guessing really, I'm guessing. But when I used them, I found them a bit mid-rangey, so maybe that's why he's losing some of that bass, but I'm really speculating here, of course. But yeah, so you could do quite a lot of work and end up with a poor result kind of thing. So I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to go too far, because I want to try and sell it on properly, and I want to make sure that other person at the other end is going to get something that sounds like a Sansui. It doesn't, you know, he hasn't got a Sansui badge and all of a sudden it sounds like a Pioneer or Marantz or a Trio or a Technics or something like that. He's bought into the Sansui kind of sound, and we know it's got that kind of particular sound, so let's keep it that way. So like, if you do too many mods, I think you start spreading that out, and you're going to change your amplifier into something that it shouldn't be. You know, you want that sound, and you want to keep it as close to it as possible. So okay, why did I do these mods? This is the next question, Mick. Why did you bother in the end, even though you're going to sell it on, etc.? Well, the thing was that when I'd done the review of this a while back, it sounded as it sounded. I was pleased with it. I've done the review, etc. No problems at all whatsoever. Then, of course, when I've come to try it out again, just before I sell it, or you know, going to do anything with it, I like testing it out yet again, because it sits on the side. It hasn't done anything for a while, and I was getting that little bit of distortion in the bass every now and again, like It wasn't apparent on low volumes, but it was more apparent on higher volumes. Of course, I've looked it up online. This seems to be the few mods I want to do here seems to be consensus that could cause this, the number one kind of things that could cause this, shall we say. So I thought I'd give them a go. Why not? Let's just jump straight in. Everyone else has had this problem. I haven't got to look it up myself. I haven't got to sit here for ages with a meter placed in one place. Of course, I checked the voltages going to certain parts of the amp, the 3 amp part and the actual main amp. I checked them, they were fine. So rather than just sitting here and waiting for it to happen kind of thing and all that kind of stuff, I thought let's just jump in and see if this cures it. It's only a couple of resistors, a few diodes and that kind of thing, and it's not going to cost me a fortune. A little bit of time, I'll do a little bit of a video on it as well, and fingers crossed it's all going to be cured. That'd be great. And of course that didn't happen. And as we know, the problem with that is, if you haven't seen my previous video, tighten your nuts, is that a nut was kind of loose on the base, and this was causing the problem. It wasn't giving a complete solid earth, it was just an half a turn, but it was loose enough to cause the problems. Just tapping it, as you'll see in that video, you could hear that kind of distortion coming in, that kind of like static coming in, and that's what I was getting. The bass wasn't clear, it just had that little bit of a distortion to it, which was creeping in. Not vast, but you could hear it, kind of like, obviously on loud volumes. On low volumes you couldn't really hear it. Maybe it was still there, I don't know, but I'm taking it wasn't, because I did have my head up against the speaker kind of thing, and I couldn't hear it, but it's hard when it's on very low volumes anyway. Okay, so that's it. So I've done these mods, and of course it didn't work, did it? It didn't work, and a little while later, accidentally, because I took the knob off, had the front off, I found out what the problem was, as I say in that video, tighten your nuts. But and obviously now I've done a few mods to it. These are kind of like mods that are going to future-proof it, I think, in the future. So I'm going to go over these mods that I've done to this amplifier and give you an idea what I've done. I'm going to bring in the 317 as well. So first of all, what I've done here, I've moved the speaker wire. This is where the speaker wire kind of runs parallel with the mains cable inside. I'm not too sure, was it about 5 inches worth there, something like that. They kind of run parallel with each other. And some people say it doesn't matter having the mains cable right next to the speaker, that's, you know, running level with it and that. But I think it's just best to get that 240 volts away from your speakers. I've got an idea it may be causing just some slight effect in that. Whether it's audible or not, I don't know, but why not just separate them if you can. So that's what I've done there. Now I've already replaced the fuse resistors in this. I'm not going to go into too much detail. If you want to watch that video, it's going to show up at the top there. But just to recap, I've done 8 resistors in total on this amplifier, 4 per channel, and here they are all replaced in this 217. There's a picture there of them all replaced there. In the 317, there's only 4 of them in the 317. I'm probably going to do this one as just to keep it, like I say, future proof. Is the 317, there's only 4 of them. There's 2 on each channel. I could also replace the some flame-proof resistors here as well. I'll just link up the 317 diagram there. As you can see, it's quite a lot of them. The red ones are the fusible, and the blue ones are the flame-proof ones that could slightly drift off because they do get hot, etc. You may want to replace them while you've got it open. These resistors are not expensive, so you may want to replace them anyway. Let's just go along now. I'll replace these. I should have had this written down, but I haven't. I'll replace these with metal film resistors. I could have went and bought some other fuse resistors, but you've got to find these values, these exact values, etc. But the consensus seems to be placed with metal film resistors. They're going to have more of a longevity to it, but may not kick in. You know, may not be fusible. Something drastic went wrong. You may have a few more parts that are kind of blown up, kind of thing. But you know, all in all, I think it's okay. Just to you know, I'm pretty confident that it's okay with these metal film resistors. Okay, next. Now, people are saying to replace this diode. Now, this is a bit of a missed subject, really. There's 2 diodes here. It's kind of like 2 diodes piggybacked again, you know, in series with each other. These are the VD1212, and people say, "Why you got it open?" You might as well replace them because they can go faulty, etc. Again, reading online, going through quite a few forums, etc. I see one bloke that does a lot of repairs. He said in his lifetime of doing tons of repairs, he's only had about 3 of these actually go wrong. So it's not as a common fault as you would expect. And he said, why bother replacing them? And other people have come back and said they've had a few more go wrong than he has. And for the money it's going to cost, a very small amount, because they just take, to replace them, they take, I haven't got it written down, is it an IN4148? it's on the diagram there. This is what you replace them with, and you put two of these are pennies, two or 3 pence each. You put two of these in series as shown there. That's what you replace that one component with this. So if I just show you that one component there as is, that's the diode we're going to replace, and there it is now. Both of them replaced. It doesn't look pretty, does it? But other people have done a better job than me, I must. They've got them diodes right close to each other, soldered up together, and they look as one package. But again, it's under the hood, and it's serving a purpose. It's just future-proofing the amplifier a little bit. Now on the 317, these are marked up as MV-12s. Okay, in this particular unit, the 217, we've got 2 of them, one each channel. On the 317, we've got 4 in total, 2 on each channel. So them MV-12s, the same as these VD1212, can be replaced by that 2 diodes that I showed you earlier in series. I do beg your pardon. Right, okay, here we go. And there they are replaced. I think I've already done that. Like I say, these not necessarily, not a necessity, but while you've got it open, why not? Why not? Okay, now we're going to replace the resistors, not the resistors, we're going to replace the transistors. These seems to be the common problem transistors in the 217 that kind of causes this bass distortion a little bit and can cause a few problems. Want to keep the signal nice and clean, etc. So we're going to replace 4 transistors in this 217, and it's 2 on each channel. And first of all, on the 217, it's transistor 3. And on the other channel, this is on one channel, transistor 3, on the other channel it's transistor 5. And the ones in there at the moment are a 2SA726, and we're going to whip them out, or I've whipped them out, no one else was involved, and I'm going to put a KSA 992. Now I'm going to match these up. I haven't got my little meter there, you've got a transistor meter, I've got tester, and make sure the values are the same, or very close as possible. May take a couple of times to put it in the tester, cut the test, get them as close as possible so they're matched pairs on both channels. So they both read the same. So when you put it in one channel, the other channel, that transistor replaced it with, it reads the same. So they're a nice matched pair. Then we're going to do transistor 4 on this channel, on one channel, and on the other channel, the left and right channel, on the other channel, it's transistor 6, and the ones in there at the moment are 2SCs 1708, and we're going to replace them with a KSC 1845FTA, again a matched pair of those. Now just talking about them, these are fairly simple to do, and once you take them out, just take a picture of what they look like in the unit. Both of them, it applies to both of them with the replacements. Just take a picture of what they look like, the old ones look like, and when you take them out, they're actually labelled up on the board as well. But all you've got to do, if you haven't got a transistor tester, you're going to be a bit sceptical with the matched pairs. Could be a little bit of out, but nice to get one of them meters. They're not expensive, about 15 quid, something like that. But all you're going to do is once you take them out, say one way, you pull it out. The new ones you put in, remember the way they come out, just turn them around 180 degrees. So this has got a flat side here. So if you took it out with the flat side facing the camera, when you go to put it in, put your new one, turn it round so the flat side is facing away from the camera and plonk it in, and that's the way you put them in. They're just spinning them around 180 degrees. Okay, so once I've done all that, what I'm going to do now is just check that bias again. Now I checked it before I did all this. I thought it'd be interesting to see if this actually changed anywhere along the line. And it read 7 millivolts on both channels as manual. So yeah, I turned it on, waiting 5 or 10 minutes as you normally do, and this went up to 8 millivolts. Is it millivolts? Yeah, did I say milliamps earlier? It's millivolts. This went up to, it started off at 7 before I'd done all this. Turned it on to test it, and they both went up 1 millivolt each to 8. It was quite remarkable, really. One went 8.1 every night. I was quite, I thought, a slight bit of a difference, but they weren't. That's what they were. They're both 8. So I just trimmed them back, both channels, back down to 7. So that is it. So now I think I've now found out what the actual original fault was. Again, that nut. I've probably future-proofed. I think, what's your opinions? I've future-proofed this amplifier maybe for someone else that may come along, and if I didn't do that, it's a common problem. I'm not saying it's going to creep up on every amplifier, but it could do. That's just future-proofed it a little bit for the next person in the chain, I think. Okay, now the next thing you're probably going to ask me, has that made any sound difference? And oh, well, I just missed a bit out actually, but we're going to come to that as well. Has that made any sound difference? And I think it's hard to say. It's hard to say. It hasn't made it any worse, and I think it's made it just a little bit sharper myself, just a little bit, you know, more precise kind of thing, a little bit more, you know, a bit more focused. I think. Now, I'm not saying it has. It's just kind of got that tendency after listening to it again, thinking that sounds, you know, pretty nice now. Not that it didn't sound nice before. I'm pleased with it, kind of thing. Now, like I say, when I do my 317, which I will do, I want to do a few alterations on that as well, and set the bias and all that kind of stuff. Soonish I'll plonk that video up while I've got it here. It may help someone out along the line. But yeah, so, you know, I think it may have done. I don't know. But with the 317, I'm going to have a good listen before and another good listen after. A few days listening of each time, before or after. So it's going to be a little while off yet, that video. And kind of have more of an opinion, I think, as it changed anything. And you know, before I mention that last thing, which is maybe a bit important for me anyway, is that I was thinking to myself, it's a bit psychological, this stuff, as we know. Quite a lot of stuff psychological, like if you listen at night and all that kind of stuff, people have different views, why it sounds better at night, why does it sound better this time of the day, why does it sound better, and all that. It's a lot to do with what kind of mood you're in as well, I think. But just as an experiment, I think if you've got a dirty amp, and you decide to take all the knobs off, give it a nice clean, give the cleaner top a nice clean, and you sit back and listen to it while looking at the amp. Now that's gleaming and sparkling. I've got no idea, you may think that sounds better, and all you've done is cleaned it. It's amazing how psychological things can be. Okay, now the last thing I want to mention, why did this cause this problem? And it's kind of been racking my brain a little bit, thinking what's happened here? How comes I didn't notice this nut being loose in the last video, or has it just suddenly got loose moving it around the house, etc.? That could have done, that is quite feasible obviously, but I think another thing to bring into it as well is that in that video I had it actually on a different stand, and it wasn't a hi-fi stand, but it kind of looked like one, and it was quite thick, chunky wood, and the actual top here was literally about an inch thick. If you go back and watch that video, you're probably going to see it, though it is under a cloth, but it is a different stand, you will see that. And I think that's kind of like with the bass kicking in, boom, 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 it's not resonating, it's kept it nice and solid, where this, hopefully you can see that, what is that? Probably 1/2 centimetre, something like that, thick, and it's quite loose, like, as you can see, look. I haven't untightened this. This is how these racks come. They're only about 20 quid on eBay. And the speakers are right next to it. And when that boom kicking in, did that just give a little enough, let's do that. Did that give enough resonance at certain notes in that bass, just to, and this amp wasn't on top, just that one amp there, so that wasn't weighing it down, so it's a bit more, you know, less weight on it. Was that just giving enough to cause that bass to start distorting a little bit because that nut was loose? I think it's worth thinking about. I think that could be, I'm not saying it is, but it could be the problem. It's kind of like, I'm trying to do an air crash investigation backtrack, but yeah, I've got an idea. It is a possibility in it, it's a possibility. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that video, especially if you've got a 217 or 317. If you haven't, you're probably not listening to me now. But in the next video, when I get around to it, like I say, taking me time now, don't forget, anyone knows anything about eyes, please get in touch with me, I'll be really grateful. Yeah, we're going to take this 317 apart, I think, adjust all the pots and everything, make sure the bias is right, change a few parts in there as well, and kind of future-proof that for myself when I sit back. And I want to put my soldering iron away and forget about it all. Just want to future-proof a few amplifiers, so I haven't got to bother getting that in the future. But like I say, don't go too mad, I don't think. Just do, you know, I'm only going to do a very small part, because if you start going down the line too much, I think you're going to alter that sound a bit too much as well. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all soon.